One of my favourite things about restaurants is an open kitchen like this. The sizzling woks, the roaring flames, and the irresistible aroma of freshly cooked food create an atmosphere that feels warm, welcoming, and authentic. Enjoying a steaming bowl of squid noodle soup in a place like this just makes it taste even better. Hello everyone! Today, we're visiting one of Vung Tau's famous squid noodle soup restaurants to see how every bowl is freshly prepared. The moment you walk in, the busy open kitchen immediately catches your eye. The woks never stop cooking, the chefs work in perfect rhythm, and every bowl is made fresh to order.
Have you ever wondered why people are willing to line up early in the morning for a single bowl of noodle soup? Today, we're taking you to the coastal city of Vung Tau, home to one of Vietnam's most famous seafood specialties, Vietnamese squid noodle soup. This isn't just another bowl of noodles. Every serving is cooked fresh to order in its own small wok, using fresh squid delivered daily from nearby fishing villages. In just a few minutes, simple ingredients are transformed into a steaming bowl filled with tender squid, juicy shrimp, flavorful pork, rich broth, and silky rice noodles. Fresh squid noodle soup made to order, Vietnam street food. In this video, you'll go behind the scenes to see how this incredible Vietnam street food is prepared from start to finish. We'll explore the unique cooking technique that keeps every bowl piping hot and every piece of seafood perfectly cooked. If you love Asian street food, authentic noodle soup, and unforgettable local flavors, you're in for a delicious journey. Let's discover how one of Vietnam's most iconic seafood dishes comes to life, one fresh bowl at a time.
Every bowl of squid noodle soup is as beautiful as it is delicious. The bright white squid, silky rice noodles, golden soft boiled egg, tender pork meatballs, and crispy fried shallots are finished with fresh scallions and a sprinkle of black pepper. The slightly chewy rice noodles pair perfectly with a clear, delicate broth, slowly simmered from pork bones and dried squid. Every spoonful is light, naturally sweet, and full of rich seafood flavor.
One of the things that makes Hue Thu Muc so special is its unique cooking method. Unlike the usual way of simply pouring hot broth over the noodles, many Vung Tau vendors prepare each serving individually in a small pan. This technique keeps the broth piping hot while preserving the natural sweetness and perfect texture of the seafood. The process begins by placing a small pan over the burner and ladling 1 or 2 scoops of boiling broth into it. Once the soup to a boil, fresh squid, shrimp, and quail eggs are carefully added. The squid is cooked for only 1 to 2 minutes, just enough to keep it tender, naturally sweet, and delightfully crisp, rather than chewy. Meanwhile, the rice noodles are blanched separately and placed into a serving bowl. The steaming seafood and flavorful broth are then poured over the noodles, creating a bowl of Hue Thu Muc that looks as incredible as it tastes. The kitchen operates with remarkable speed and precision. 14 small pans are lined up over large gas burners, with each pan preparing a single serving of Hue Thu Muc. Every pan is filled with just the right amount of rich, flavorful broth for one bowl. As soon as the broth reaches a rolling boil, a perfectly measured portion of fresh squid and shrimp is added. The seafood is stirred quickly for just 1 to 2 minutes, allowing the squid to cook perfectly while staying tender, naturally sweet, and delightfully crisp. The entire pan is then lifted and poured directly over a bowl of freshly blanched rice noodles, creating one steaming bowl of authentic Vietnamese food. Behind the counter, the teamwork is just as impressive. 4 people work together in perfect rhythm. One person blanches the noodles, another carefully weighs and portions the squid into stainless steel cups, while the other 2 stand over the burners, cooking bowl after bowl without pause. Even outside the busiest hours, the kitchen never slows down. Every movement is fast, efficient, and perfectly coordinated, ensuring that every customer receives a fresh bowl made to order. Moments like these offer a genuine glimpse into life in Vietnam, where hard work, dedication, and craftsmanship are part of everyday life. It's also a place where family-friend gatherings naturally come together over a comforting bowl of soup, making every meal feel warm and welcoming.
Choosing the right rice noodles is just as important as selecting fresh seafood. For this dish, dried rice noodles are the preferred choice. They are soaked in warm water for about 30 minutes to 1 hour until they become soft and pliable. After soaking, the noodles are rinsed with cold water. Fresh rice noodles are generally avoided because they can become too soft during cooking and won't hold their texture as well. As the dried noodles absorb water, they gradually expand, becoming slightly translucent instead of cloudy. A simple way to check if they're ready is to gently squeeze a single strand between your fingers. If it feels evenly soft without a hard center, the noodles are perfectly prepared for cooking. For many people, squid noodle soup is still a relatively unfamiliar dish. Yet in southern Vietnam, it has been enjoyed for decades and continues to be served by many local restaurants today. The secret to a truly delicious bowl begins with the broth. A good broth is slowly simmered from pork bones, together with dried squid, creating a naturally sweet flavor and a rich seafood aroma that makes this dish so distinctive. Just as important is the fresh squid itself. Squid is the heart and soul of this dish, adding its signature sweetness, delicate texture, and satisfying bite. The best squid has a thick body, glossy skin, firm flesh, and the clean, fresh scent of the sea. Squid that has been sitting for too long, with soft flesh, dull skin, or dark spots, simply won't deliver the same flavor or texture. Fresh squid may cost a little more, but the difference in quality is well worth it. Careful preparation is equally important. After cleaning, the squid is soaked in lightly salted cold water for about 15 minutes. This simple step helps remove any remaining fishy odor while preserving the squid's natural sweetness, tender texture, and signature crisp bite after cooking. It's these small details and careful techniques that transform simple ingredients into one of Vietnam's most memorable seafood noodle dishes. Squid noodle soup is not only appealing in flavor, but also a dish with fairly balanced nutritional value. Fresh squid is a source of high-quality protein, while the broth, simmered from pork bones, provides a natural sweetness and many nutrients. This dish also provides many minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and B vitamins, which are essential for the body. Especially, squid noodle soup has a relatively low fat content, so if enjoyed in reasonable portions, it's a fairly light option for a meal. However, if you are on a diet or need to control your sodium intake, pay attention to the salt content in the broth as well as the dipping sauces served with it. To make a delicious bowl of squid noodle soup, every little detail is important. It looks simple, but if the squid is overcooked even slightly, the flavor will be completely different. The squid, when cooked properly, should be off-white, slightly translucent, and look very fresh. When you bite into it, you'll feel its natural chewiness and crispness, tender, but not at all fibrous. There's a principle that chefs always remember. The squid should only be cooked until just done, because after being added to the bowl, the heat of the broth will continue to cook the squid a little more. Just timing it right, the squid will retain its natural sweetness and its characteristic crispy texture. The choice of ingredients is equally important. Squid of medium size is usually the ideal choice. Squid that is too large tends to be tougher and doesn't absorb the flavor well. Squid that is too small lacks the thickness and sweetness. Typically, squid weighing around 200 to 300 grams each yields the best quality. Perhaps that's why squid noodle soup has such a unique flavor. Not too greasy, not too strong or heavy in flavor, but distinguished by its clear, light broth and natural sweetness extracted from fresh seafood. The kitchen area is always bustling. The women take turns cooking, carefully tending to each pot of broth, cooking one bowl after another, almost without a break. Meanwhile, young men continuously carry steaming bowls of noodle soup from the counter to the customers' tables. Each person has their own task, each person has their own rhythm, but they all work together seamlessly. The work repeats itself, regularly and precisely, creating a lively and energetic scene. A great bowl of squid noodle soup is all about balance. The broth is crystal clear, naturally sweet, and rich with a delicate seafood flavor. The rice noodles are soft and silky, while the squid is tender, springy, and naturally sweet. A handful of fresh herbs and a few slices of chili complete the bowl. For the best experience, enjoy it while it's still piping hot. Every spoonful is warm, comforting, and full of the fresh flavors that make this Vietnamese seafood noodle soup so unforgettable.
Hue Tiêu Muk is famous for its fresh squid, juicy shrimp, and crystal clear broth with a naturally sweet, savory flavor. The broth is slowly simmered from pork bones and dried squid, creating a delicious bowl of authentic Vietnamese food. For the best experience, dip the fresh squid into spicy green chili salt with a squeeze of lime, then enjoy it with a spoonful of the hot broth. The squid stays tender and delightfully crisp, making this noodle soup seafood recipe truly unforgettable. Served with fresh bean sprouts, scallions, lime, and chili, Hue Tiêu Muk perfectly captures the flavors of life in Vietnam. It's a favorite meal to share with family and friends, and a highlight in many street food videos.
The bowl arrives, piping hot, with steam rising into the air. The aroma of the rich broth, blended with the sweetness of fresh squid, is enough to make anyone hungry. Add a handful of bean sprouts and fresh herbs, then it's time to enjoy. From the very first bite, you'll notice how different it is. The broth is light and naturally sweet. The squid is tender, with a pleasantly springy texture. Together, they create a bowl of squid noodle soup, unlike any other noodle dish you've ever tasted.
The squid here is incredibly fresh. You can tell just by looking at it. Every piece is bright, slightly translucent, firm, and beautifully tender. Take the very first bite. You'll notice the delicate, springy texture, followed by a natural sweetness that only fresh squid can offer. And that's what I love most about this bowl. The broth is light, clear, and naturally sweet. The squid is tender, with a pleasant, springy bite. The rice noodles are silky smooth, yet still perfectly chewy. Together, every ingredient comes together in perfect harmony. Nothing is overpowering, nothing feels too heavy, just a comforting bowl of squid noodle soup full of fresh seafood flavor that keeps you coming back for another bite. Maybe that's exactly why this humble bowl of Vietnamese squid noodle soup has won the hearts of so many people. to serve a constant stream of customers. The flavorful broth is simmered for hours with pork bones and dried squid in large pots, kept hot throughout the day. When an order arrives, the chefs simply blanch the rice noodles and quickly cook fresh squid and shrimp for each bowl. This fast, made-to-order process keeps the seafood incredibly fresh while delivering authentic Vietnamese food that's loved by locals. This generous bowl is the perfect portion for one person. An authentic hủ tiếu mực from Vung Tau features fresh squid, sweet crunchy shrimp, and quail eggs. The rice noodles are slightly chewy, while the clear broth is naturally sweet and deeply flavorful, slowly simmered with pork bones and roasted dried squid. Served with fresh herbs and vegetables, the seafood is even more delicious when dipped into lime pepper salt. It's a simple, yet unforgettable Vietnamese food experience that perfectly captures the flavors of life in Vietnam and is a favorite in street food videos. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this delicious journey through Vietnam street food, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing food and travel adventures from around the world. Leave a comment below and tell us which country you're watching from. We'd love to see where our viewers are joining us from.